All right. I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me, because I've been having some streaming issues this morning. Yeah, but I'm going to do this because I really wanted to get started today on this project, which is I'm going to be doing readings on every sign of the zodiac for the entire year, a general reading for 2023, looking at what you can expect and what it's going to look like overall. I'm going to look at the major areas of your life, including your relationships, your finances and work, and your health, and the general trajectory of what you can expect in 2023. And I'm excited about these because I think I'm doing these monthly, but I wanted to give an overall picture. I did these last year too, but this year I'm doing them live, which is, if any Aquarius people show up, feel free to ask questions. And I'm going to look at whatever you guys want to know about next year. So feel free to chime in. I know I didn't really announce this one as usual, so I don't know if anyone's going to arrive or if we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you have questions, let me know in the comments, as always, Aquarius people or otherwise. I'm going to get to all the signs at some point over the next few days, do these as often as I can, and we'll see how long it takes me to get them all out. But so I think I'll begin. I'm going to take a look first for Aquarius at health for next year. And if anyone's on and can let me know if you can hear me and see me okay, that'd be great. But otherwise, I'll just keep going. I'm pretty sure it's working. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, so I hope you can hear me okay. If not, let me know. I'm just going to continue. So I'm going to begin with health for Aquarius. And whoa. So the general health, again, this is going to be very broad strokes view of next year, but I want to get, audio is great. Excellent. Perfect. There's nothing worse than to think I'm talking for half an hour and then find out it's been muted. So I'll begin with health. Looking at health for next year for Aquarius. And I'm seeing the Page of Swords. Overall, I think this is a pretty strong health card. I don't see any major complications. I think you're taking care of your health next year and you're planning and just being conscious of your health. And overall, this is a pretty solid card. Not seeing any major issues that you're not aware of already. Let's take a look next. I'm going to look at I think I'll look at your overall finances next year. General state of finances for Aquarius in 2023. And be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be doing readings for all the signs in separate videos. Just kind of release them as often as I can over the next few days until I get through all 12. All right, so we're looking at finances for Aquarius for next year. General financial concerns, or where you should be putting your attention on finances, how much abundance or lack of abundance you will have next year. This, of course, is going to vary from Aquarius to Aquarius, but I'm looking at the general energy that is going to be you're most receptive to next year. I'm seeing the Magician, which means a lot of your finances next year are going to be very much under your control. You're going to have, a very balanced financial year. I think you're going to be taking care of your debts and credits, payments that you have to take care of, but at the same time, you're also planning for the future and investing and taking care of things that you need to take care of. I think this is, along with that Page of Swords for the health card, looks so far that we're seeing a pretty solid year next year. I see your comment, Lisa. I love your political and current event readings. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I plan to get back to those. So I'm going to get through the horoscopes for the year, and then I will return to those. I have a lot of topics. I may actually give you a sneak preview of some of the topics that I have coming. So if you're not subscribed, I will get to these. Some of these I'm kind of debating about whether I'm going to do or I'm thinking about the best way to do them. So I just have written down here, I'll be looking at Iran, Europe for the winter, Ukraine in the winter. Zelensky I just did. That was actually one of the crossing it off the list. I just did a reasoning on him. Look at NATO, the general feature of NATO. Look at overpopulation. Look at the metaverse, whether there's potential for that or it's just going to be a fad that nobody really jumps on. I'm probably going to look at the potential for wars in 2023 because I did that last year and I do that every year, and that seems to be a pretty solid reading for me, like one that I get pretty accurate. So I do want to look at that. I want to look at the general state of coronavirus in 2023. I have a lot of different topics. Cashless society. I already did a few of these. Climate change I did. So make sure you're subscribed and I'll get to those. All right. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Let me finish this reading. So, I'm looking at Aquarius. So I looked at finances, which was the Page of Swords. So I see overall a pretty solid financial year. Page cards indicate that you're not a master of your finances as much as, say, like a king card, but you're starting to get a hold on things and it's pretty solid. And then I was looking at, I'm sorry, that was not for finances. That was for health. For finances, no, I'm seeing the Magician, which is more in control, is more of a instigator and initiator and somebody who actually acts on things in a very fundamental way. So this card, I always like to highlight that the Magician has on the table. Make sure you can see it. On the table, a sword, a cup, a pentacle, and a wand, because they are really balancing the four elements. And cups, of course, are emotions. With finances, a lot of people suffer who are very cups oriented because they are so emotional and they don't think about the long-term consequences of purchasing things. They'll just buy things randomly and then they'll end up paying a lot of credit card debt and things like that. Pentacle people, and when I say pentacle people, I just mean that people have that as a more dominant element that they identify and associate with. Those people are usually pretty good with money. Wands people, they can, similar to cups, because they're very fiery, they can be a little impulsive and not always very good with money. And then swords people tend to be pretty good with money because they're very strategic and they like to analyze and plot things out in a very calculated way. So being able to integrate these four elements is what the Magician is all about, and being able to do that with your finances is pretty powerful if you can kind of keep your more fiery and your more watery aspects in check. Lisa, I see you say you appreciated the Putin and Zelensky readings. I hope so. I'm always try to be unbiased with my readings because I'm interested in what is going to help everybody on the whole planet, and I realize that the more I put my bias and myself into the reading, the less accurate it's going to be. So I'm always trying to be as accurate as possible and impartial, but obviously it's not always possible, but I do my best. All right. So we've looked at, with Aquarius, we've looked at health in a general way. We've looked at finances. Let's take a look at your work situation. If you're going to be happy. And when I say work, not everybody's working. Some people are retired. Some people are students. Some people are just unemployed for whatever reason. And I'm talking more about how you spend your time. Are you using it in a way that you find satisfying and meaningful, and that is also profitable to you in not just money, but in terms of, is it something that allows you to grow, to learn, to develop, to connect with others in a meaningful way? That's what I mean by work. So that's what I'm looking at next with Aquarius. I have to say, I'm doing this what time is it? Here it's like it's like 11:11 in the morning. And I have to say, I feel like this is a better time of day to do my readings. I feel more energized. The only reason I don't is because there's construction sounds upstairs in this apartment upstairs. So during the day it tends to be noisier, but I can hear it a little right now. That I hear some work up there, but overall it's quiet. So I'm going to try and work through it. If there are some amazing eruptions of noise, we'll just have to deal with it. But anyways, yeah, so I'm looking at work, and by work, as I described it, how you occupy yourself with your time. Is it productive? Is it meaningful? Is it satisfying? All right. So Aquarius, oh, interesting. So Aquarius, I'm seeing again, Page of Swords for work, which overall next year, this just came up with in terms of health. So I think this, when a card comes up a few times like that, it means it's a very strong tendency for you next year. It's going to be impacting. I think this just also shows that your work is going to be very impactful on your health next year. So I think overall it's pretty solid in terms of work too. So it's going to be something that maybe you're not immediately satisfied with it, but you're, as a sword card, you're initiating a plan that is gravitating you towards that next year. And I think overall it is going to be a good path that you're going to be walking next year in terms of work and occupying yourself. Yeah, so again, these are very general, so make sure you subscribe, because I do these monthly readings, which I haven't been doing monthly readings in an in-depth way like this, in which I look at the basic 4 quadrants of your energy. I see Sandy's on. Hi, Sandy, and enjoying the astrology video. Thank you for 2023. I'm interested in COVID news. Oh yeah, I don't know if you just joined, but I was reading through a list of things that I'm going to be looking at next year. So I will be looking at the overall energy for COVID next year. I'll probably get to that reading maybe as soon as I finish all these astrology readings, which I'm going to try and get done over the next few days. You also ask about whether there will be any major quakes or tsunamis. This time slot is perfect. Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. here in Malaysia, so I imagine, yeah, for Australia, it's probably a good time. I'm trying to think for North America what time it is. I feel like it's evening, so maybe it's a good time. I think it's a good time overall for most of the world if I do morning, but it just hasn't always been possible. But quakes and tsunamis. Yeah, I'm trying to think, though, how I can read for that. Maybe let me write that down, because I find that the best way that I can read something like that would be to look at each continent. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea, because also, Hawaii, they're in the midst of Mauna Loa. Is that the name of the volcano on the Big Island? It's erupting, or I haven't checked the news today, so I don't really know the status, but last time I checked it was erupting. So things like that, I think, yeah, there are general energy with the earth, which is often identified with pentacles. So oh, you're in New York, Lisa. Excellent. Yeah, so maybe a little, yeah, I think it's a good time overall. If I can do these like early mornings, I think it's a good time. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going with the Aquarius readings. Feel free to comment though, and I always like to look back at the comments, but I want to finish this. So I've done your health, Aquarius. I've done your which I saw was Page of Swords. I looked at your finances, which was the Magician, and then I looked at your work, your general occupation in 2023, which was also the Page of Swords, which shows that Page of Swords is a very central card for you next year, which is, as a page card, it's the initial attempts at doing something, the initial foray into something, and it's not always going to be successful, but it's on the path to success, as a sword card especially. So I think it's overall a pretty strong footing. You may have some missteps overall, but I think it's pretty strong in general. And yeah, so finally, I'm going to look at your relationships, and by relationships, I'm including not just romantic relationships, which most people are very interested in, but also, your general relationships with friends, family, everybody you interact with, coworkers, and so on. This is a look at that. So let's look at your relationships for 2023. And I am seeing I'm going to lower the camera a little. There. I know some people like to see when I actually do my readings. I've kind of switched to this method. Oh, that jumped out. So I was looking for your relationships next year. I'm seeing justice. So justice is really about the past coming into the present. The past usually indicated by karma and the law of what you sow and what you reap. And sometimes justice is unsatisfying. A lot of times it is, but not always. It's really like how you've been living and how you've been. So if you're in a relationship right now, Aquarius, and you haven't been taking care of it, you haven't been, fostering your relationships. And again, I'm talking about all your relationships, the relationships that are key to you, whether that's romantic, whether that's family, whether that's friends. Maybe you haven't been taking care of it in a way that is maintaining it. So maybe you need to put some more work into it and put more attention on it and think about, because a lot of people, when they're with their relationships, they tend to just put them on automatic, and that's good sometimes, but a lot of times you need to really put more attention on it. Like, we put our attention on things like taking care of our jobs and our money, but a lot of times with relationships, we just kind of let them flow along and however they are. And maybe you need to be a more active participant in your relationships right now. But if you have been doing things, if you've been if you have kids, for example, if you've been taking them to little league games or whatever, I don't know. I'm just I'm saying, are you doing the things that are allowing both yourself and the other people in these relationships to grow? With your coworkers, are you seeing them as more than just people that to control with power, or to kind of provide the work that they require, and just to satisfy that? Or are you seeing them as people and seeing them as potential friends, things like that? So think about what you can do to really grow your relationships in 2023, because if you just let it go on automatic, I think it's not going to be, and I think tying this back to that Page of Swords card, Swords cards can be very good at finance, at taking care of a home, at getting a job, things like that, but they're not necessarily great at relationships. So I think if you're putting too much attention on strategy, like a chess player, which is the sword, maybe you need to bring some more emotional compassion and listening skills. Maybe you need to develop your skills that relate to emotions, because a lot of times with that magician, we saw with the magician, it's about balancing those four elements. So consider maybe with your relationships, you need to balance it out emotionally, you need to balance it out. Think creatively, if you're in a relationship, maybe go on some dates that are totally new and totally different. Maybe take a trip that's somewhere that you've never done before. Do something that you've never done together, like take a class together, cook together. I don't know, just do things out of the ordinary that will allow yourself to grow next year, because this karma card, justice, is all about, sometimes it's about being in a rut, and to escape that rut, you just have to think outside the box. So that's what I'm suggesting for you, Aquarius, next year. So to recap, let me go through this again. So I was seeing for both your I'm getting mixed up. So with health, I was seeing the Page of Swords, which is about a pretty solid footing, a pretty solid plan, taking care of your health in a practical way. And I saw that same card with with your occupation. And with finances, I was seeing the Magician, which is about balancing energies and finding a very stable footing. And then with probably the card that you maybe need to work the most on, your relationships, I'm seeing that Justice card, which is about finding a more just a more satisfying balancing the yin and yang of your relationship, so that you're giving, you're receiving in a satisfying way, and you're thinking creatively, you're thinking outside the box. If you do that next year, I think it will make your relationships much more satisfying. So that's the general energy I'm seeing for you, Aquarius. If you want to know about other signs, I'm going to start doing these. I don't know, maybe I'll do the other one right after this, immediately after this. I'm going to take at least a 5 or 10 minute pause just to get up and stretch a little and move around, but I may get started on the next one. So make sure you're subscribed, and as always, I will return at some point in the next few days with predictions and news events and so on. So I hope you're there, and I do month-long readings. And let me just remind you that I also do private readings. If you want a private reading, just contact me on SuperPeer. I will have 15% off using this coupon code through the end of the year, through December 31st. So and I plan to do other coupon codes in the future, but this is the one I have active right now. So make sure you're subscribed so you're caught up on all those, and hope to see you in future readings. I'm going to sign off for now and make it on very quickly again, because this is pretty easy and fun, and I like doing these. So hope to talk to you soon.